My name is Shweta Kurjakar, and this is my TED Talk on Influence for Management 6334. I would like to start off by talking about an anecdote about Heidi Roizen. Heidi Roizen is now a successor venture capitalist in the Silicon Valley, but there came a turning point in her life where that changed everything about her life and her future, and that was when her fiance died in a plane accident. Bill George and Peter Sims describe an authentic leader as somebody who uses their past experiences, they can be good or bad, to change the course of their future and to change the course of how they are better leaders. And I would think that Heidi Roizen is an authentic leader who developed, after the passing of her fiance, developed an extremely successful, influential network and succeeded in her life after that tragic loss. So what are the advantages of building a social network like that? Of course, Heidi Roizen got the social support that she needed, but also she got informational power or informational access, which is basically access to information that nobody else really knows, which increases your network. The second is skills access, which is basically like adding another toolkit to your toolbox. Like, hey, at least you have it, but you never know when you might need it. And third is power to become an information broker. Information brokers are people who easily influence decisions and situations by the power by the knowledge they know. They constantly make deals based on the information, and they climb up the corporate ladder. So all this talk about influence and power and good networking, but I just want to say that it doesn't happen overnight. This is not like changing your picture on LinkedIn tonight and suddenly having 60 new connections with CEOs tomorrow morning. It doesn't work like that. It takes a lot of time. To build a strong social network, University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School of Business professor Adam Grant, who also happens to be a New York Times bestseller for the book Give and Take, says that we need to be givers, and not just givers, genuine givers, and be surrounded by a network of genuine givers too. Givers are people who give more than they like to receive, and genuine givers are people who like to give without necessarily needing anything in return. This idea is in line with one of the principles of persuasion, which is reciprocity, which says people are obliged to do for you what you did for them first. So may it be giving advice, may it be giving feedback, may it be expanding their connections, maybe giving them recommendations. They'll be more willing to do that back for you. In this case, giving is like a domino effect, and also exemplifies another characteristic of persuasion, which is consistency. If I give to you today and you give back to me tomorrow, we'll have that connection going, and it'll just spread within our network. Additionally, if you want to really be in a strong social network, you could, just go out to the bar with your friends. I'm just kidding. Well, actually, maybe I might not be. Uzi and Dunlap did research and discovered that activities or people that strive to do activities to bond outside of the professional setting have stronger, deeper connections between them. For example, they stated Todd Redding, a client executive who went water skiing with one of his donors as a shared activity. This demonstrates the principle of the shared activity principle. And in that, where they water skied and they got to know each other on a personal level, and they also knew how each of them acted when there was defeat involved or when they felt vulnerable. And another brilliant example of the shared activities principle is Heidi Roizen, who, while she was a daytime venture capitalist, she was a nighttime party host and dinner host at her house. And she made food for all her guests, but also asked all of her guests to bring something along with them so they could all engage in that shared activity and have something to talk about and have that connection. And this shared activities principle also demonstrates another power of persuasion, which is liking. Basically, I'm going to get persuaded by you or give you the money that you want or sign that contract with you if I just like you. Next, Heidi Roizen. She was a successful Stanford graduate, but she actually graduated with a degree in creative writing. But she was always inclined to make new connections and make friends through those connections. And although she didn't have talent in the immediate subject matter, she had and demonstrated grit. Adam Grant describes the difference between interest and grit as something that as interest is something that drives you to develop a new skill, but grit is something that gets you back up after them difficulties and setbacks, or in simple terms, just resiliency to get something done after a roadblock. This shows another power of persuasion principle, which is scarcity, which essentially just says people want more of what they can't have. And for people who are resilient, all they want is to get to their final destination. So they're going to keep getting up and going and doing what they want to. Adam Grant would definitely characterize Heidi Roizen as a powerless communicator with persuasion as a strength. Lastly, the other two ways of using powers of persuasion is authority, is that if you're a leader, that people are more inclined to follow you, and two is social proof or consensus, where majority votes or majority wins, and sort of that way. And especially the social proof of the consensus is an extremely essential asset to have, because it allows you to build a more influential network. For example, if 6 other people in a firm know you personally, they can vouch for you, and you'll be more likely to get a job that you're interviewing for than if you didn't know them, because the 6 people might influence the hiring manager. So the takeaways from this are: talent doesn't take you as far as grit does. Show passion. Be passionate about something. Show interest. Show grit. Build a strong, genuine giver network that displays reciprocity and consistency. And 3, people are just more likely to want to be associated with you or want to get persuaded by you if they just like you. So instead, take the extra step and engage with them outside the office. Take that extra step, and I'm sure it'll be beneficial. Thank you for listening to my TED Talk today. Have a great day.